I'm sure y'all watching this thinking yourselves, oh boy, Coyote, here you go again, handling another dangerous animal. Trust me, I'm in no danger as long as I don't lick or eat this little tiny frog.
As we all know, the Amazon rainforest is one of the most biodiverse places on Earth, with it being the home to over 3 million species and over 2,500 tree species. This of course means that there are going to be some strange happenings and findings that occur here, especially considering how many undiscovered things still exist in the Amazon. From bugs to animals to trees, all the way to even the landscape. Let's not waste any time and dive right into part 2 of the top 10 strangest things found in the Amazon forest. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have the peanut head bug. Of course, there is a scientific name for this bug that certainly makes it seem more sophisticated, but the peanut head bug definitely sounded a lot more fun. These guys love to live in tropical forests and can be found in Mexico as well as both Central and South America. Okay, so there's a few crazy things going on with this bug, so let's start off with the elephant in the room, which would be the peanut head. This bug reaches a length of up to 85 to 90 millimeters, with its head being as long as 10 to 15 of those millimeters. Other than being shaped like a peanut, this bug has false eyes that resemble that of a lizard or a serpent, which of course acts as a deterrent to predators. When being attacked, this bug will also spread its wings, which will then display another yellow pair of much larger false eyes, as well as releasing a terrible smelling substance. I feel like all of those traits have definitely qualified this bug to be on today's list, but let's just add one more for good measure. These bugs will also knock their heads on a hollow tree in order to create vibrations for mates. Okay, now I'm really done talking about the peanut head bug. In our number 9 spot today, we have the walking tree. Okay, so these trees got their name because of a myth surrounding them that would suggest they are able to walk. I mean, extremely slowly, but that's what it would seem. As cool as that would be to imagine trees roaming around the forest floor while humans aren't around, these trees aren't actually walking, of course, but what is happening is still pretty cool and definitely worth talking about. Basically, these trees just have a really amazing root system. Firstly, these trees look like they're almost on some kind of stilts, which isn't necessarily the most usual thing to see, but it's just all a part of their roots. It isn't quite clear why these trees appear this way, and there have been many theories as to why, but none have been proven yet. The walking myth comes from the fact that it is believed that as conditions on one side of the tree improve, the tree will be more likely to be regrowing near that side and will allow the roots on the opposite side to kind of just die off. This of course could potentially lead to very minimally small movements over an extended period of time, but it still makes sense as to where the story may have come from. The trunk is used in the construction of houses and other structures, as well as hunting spears, and the inner parts of the stilt roots are used as a male aphrodisiac. This tree produces a yellow fruit which is edible as well. In our number 8 spot today, we have the Brazilian grape tree. Before I dive into this one, guys, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the video so far, because it really helps us out. This tree is a slow growing evergreen tree that features salmon pink leaves when it's young, before they turn green as it matures and gets older. That's not the only strange and interesting thing about these trees, however, as they grow their grape-like fruit right on the trunk, which isn't the most normal thing for trees. These fruits are purplish black and can be eaten raw, or they can sometimes be used to make jam. While this tree is very adaptable, in its preferred climate, this tree can flower and fruit up to 5 or 6 times a year. The most common diseases that affect these trees are rust, canker, dieback, and fruit rot. So while there's a lot about these trees that are of course similar to other trees in general, this one definitely has some unique features that landed it a spot here today. In our number 7 spot today, we have the zombie ants. Okay, this one might be small scale, but it is truly straight out of a horror movie. There's a type of insect pathogenic fungus that is commonly found in tropical forest ecosystems. This fungus infects a certain kind of ant, and once infected, this ant basically turns into a zombie. Good news is the ant doesn't suddenly go around eating others of its kind, but it is still being controlled and manipulated by this fungus. The ant will leave their nest and usual trails and head for the forest floor, which has better conditions for fungal growth. From there, the ant will then bite and attach itself to a major vein on a leaf and basically just stay there until it dies, which is usually around 4 to 10 days. During these days, the fungus will start to basically sprout out of the ant's head so as to be prepared to infect the next unsuspecting creature. Okay, that one might have been the grossest one on this list. In our number 6 spot today, we have the Amazon rings. This discovery was made by archaeologists, and while not much is really known about it, it was a discovery that did change what we once believed. So basically, a bunch of ditches were found in the landscape of the Amazon. Most of them are round, but there are also other shapes. It's unclear what they were used for, but the theories range from defense to drainage to maybe even ceremonial or spiritual reasons, but the coolest thing about these rings is that they are older than the Amazon forest itself. It is so unbelievable to see these ancient relics of our past civilization, and considering how we couldn't live without the Amazon rainforest, it's crazy to think of a time when it didn't even exist yet. Unfortunately, this discovery only happened because of the ongoing and devastating deforestation that plagues the Amazon and those who live in it every single day. In our number 5 spot today, we have Electrophorus electricus. This guy is way better known as an electric eel, despite it really not being an eel at all, and rather a knife fish. Until 2019, this was the only species in its genus, which is super cool. These guys have actually been reclassified several times because of the fact that they really are just quite unusual. They grow to be around 2 meters long and are a dark gray-brown color on their backs, but more of a yellow or orange color on their bellies. They have 3 main abdominal organs: the main organ, Hunter's organ, and Satch's organ, which all take up about 4/5 of its body, but are responsible for the ability to produce electricity. Basically, they can produce either low voltages, which are used to sense their surrounding environments, or high voltages, which are used to detect prey and subsequently stun them. While this guy isn't a huge threat to humans, there have been a few documented instances of people dying from their electric shock, so I think this is one creature that maybe I'll just stay away from. In our number 4 spot today, we have poison dart frogs. These frogs do look kind of cute, but they apparently are one of the most toxic creatures on Earth. They can be a variety of colors from black, yellow, red, green, copper, or blue, and it all depends on their habitats and how toxic they are. These colors can help them to keep predators away, as it is a sign that eating them is probably not worth it, but if that's not enough of a deterrent, they've got a special weapon ready to go. It is said that the poison from one of these frogs would be enough to kill 10 adult humans, which is crazy. The name of these kinds of frogs came from the old tradition that the indigenous people of Colombia used, where they would cover the tip of their blowgun darts with the frog's poison before hunting. Aside from these guys being super small but super poisonous, another strange thing about them is that we don't actually know where their poison comes from, but at the moment it is believed that it may be their diet. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Hamza River. Many of us already know about the Amazon River, and in part 1 we talked about the boiling river, but today we have a much less well-known river that is actually super interesting, and that is the Hamza River. This river wasn't discovered until very recently in 2011. This river is actually roughly the same size as the Amazon River, so why wouldn't we know about it? Well, it's because it's located 4 kilometers underground. This river also isn't really a river at all, but more of a slowly flowing aquifer. Both the Hamza and the Amazon River are the 2 main drainage systems for the Amazon basin, and the pair forms a geologically unusual instance of a twin river system that flows at different levels of the Earth's crust. While the Hamza is considered slow and only has 3% of the flow that the Amazon River has, that 3% is still 46 times that of the Thames. I'm not gonna lie, I never thought I'd get excited at the idea of a river, but this one is actually pretty cool. In our number 2 spot today, we have the Tyrant King Leech. These disgusting creatures were discovered quite recently, and I wish we never even knew they existed. These guys have 8 teeth, and their discovery came after one was found feeding on the mucous membrane of a girl who had recently bathed in the upper Amazon. Unlike other leeches, these guys only have 1 row of teeth, but they are disproportionately large. These horrifying things do not drop off their hosts after feeding, but instead will remain attached for days or even weeks. Because these guys prefer the mucous membranes, they aim for areas like the mouth, throat, and nose. Because of their small size, they aren't easily detectable at first either, but once attached, they can grow up to 7 centimeters, so surely they'd be noticeable by then. I'm not sure if these guys or the zombie ant fungus is worse. In our number 1 spot today, we have the Amazonian giant centipede. Okay, thank God this is the last one on this list because I am so freaked out by all of these creepy crawlies we're talking about today. These centipedes are the largest centipede species in the world, with the ability to grow over a foot in length. These gross things will prey on basically anything that they can, which includes other large insects, spiders, millipedes, scorpions, and even tarantulas. But because they're so huge, it also includes small lizards, frogs, snakes, mice, and even bats. They have crazy hunting techniques for the largest of their prey and have been known to climb to the ceiling of caves in order to get to the bats, which is both incredible and so scary. These things are also venomous, and while it hasn't been a common occurrence for humans to die from a bite, there is one recorded incident that took place in 2014. This incident happened in Venezuela, and a person passed away after being bitten by one of these giant centipedes after it had hidden itself inside of an empty soda can. There are a lot of dangerous things crawling around on the forest floor of the Amazon, but this one might take the cake on being the most disgusting looking. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thank you so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlovsky, and I'll see you next time. Bye!